Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 20 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafty shenanigans. So today is Friday, June 19th, 2020, and I hope to get this episode posted up later on today or perhaps tomorrow. So I'd like to, I'm new getting back into doing these, and I'm probably going to be awkward for the next few weeks. But anyway, I'd like to say a huge welcome to any new viewers who've decided to check out my little channel. I hope you enjoy what you see, and I'd love to have you come back and see me again on future weeks. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to those that have subscribed in the last week, and a huge thank you for all of my returning viewers who have come back to see the next episode in my podcast. So I'm so happy to have you guys all here. So we have, I don't know, it's a dark, kind of dreary, overcast day today. It's warm, but oh well. It's summer's on the way, and I'm one of those ones that mumbles and complains in the heat, and I'd rather be cold. So A, I can wear all my hand knits, and B, I'm just more comfortable when it's cold. So I'm drinking some green tea. I love this mug. It's got all kinds of cats all over it. So I'm sipping on a cup of green tea. So it's green tea, and it's very berry, and it has a mix of raspberry, strawberry, and blueberry flavors. It's really quite nice. It's a nice tea. So I'm going to switch to, I usually only drink black tea in the morning, and then once we're getting a bit later into after lunchtime, I tend to switch over to a little bit lighter caffeine tea, otherwise I'll be up half the night. But anyway, so today I have a finished object to show you. I'm really happy with these. So these are my Suki socks. Kind of awkward to show them. So these are the Suki socks. These socks were the round 7 pattern for Sock Madness 14, and it's a design by Adrienne Fong, otherwise known as Belly Button Knits, on Ravelry. Unfortunately, she passed away last fall, and these are a design she had submitted for Sock Madness, and everyone involved with Sock Madness that was organizing it, along with Adrienne, decided they wanted to have this for the final round of Sock Madness. So I'm really happy to have them finished. I never make it to the later rounds in Sock Madness, and I typically don't manage to get the round 7 socks knit. So I'm really happy to have these socks completed and finished. So for these, I used Knit Picks Bear Stroll Fingering yarn, and I'm going to leave them in, they'll stay in this cream color. I used 2.25 millimeter needles, or US size 1, and they're just such a pretty sock. They have beads, lace, a little bit of faux cabling on here, and they're just such a pretty knit. It was a really fun pattern to make. It had a couple little bauble type things on it, but it's just such a pretty knit, and I really do like I'm happy with these. They turned out so pretty, and they're just such a pretty knit. So I'm really happy to have a finished object to show you guys already. This probably won't be a typical trend each and every week that I'll have a finished object, but yeah, not likely. So the other, if you remember from last week, I had 3 works in progress that I was showing you. I was working on the Suki socks and I've got those finished. I was also working on Adamant Hearts, which is the design by Knit Joys. It was also one of the designs for Sock Madness 14th. This was the round 4 socks. These are the ones that got me eliminated from the competition. But they're a pretty sock. I'm knitting these in Knit Picks, Stroll, Bear, Fingering. I never say all those words in the same order from one time to the next time. But I'm using Knit Picks, Bear, Stroll, Fingering weight yarn for these. And the second color, because they're colorwork socks, the second color I'm using is, the second yarn I'm using is Knit Picks, Stroll, Fingering in the color black. And I have a half object. I wanted to show these on my foot mannequin because it shows the design so much better. It's got this adorable heart on the toe. It has hearts up the side here. The sole, take that off for now. The sole has a different pattern on it, which I think is really, really cute. I really like that. And last week on this particular sock, I was at the point I had the heel flap and the heel turn done, but I still had to pick up the gusset stitches, work all the way down the gusset, and then all the way down the foot to the toe. So on this sock, this is the second of the 2. I haven't finished the first one yet. But this one, I have it complete. So this is where I left off, where I was at last week. So again, I had, the leg was complete on this sock. The heel flap and turn were done. And since last week, I picked up the gusset stitches and finished all the way down the foot. My gusset pickups in stranded colorwork, not very pretty. But oh well, a little bit better on this side, but on the one side it didn't come out the greatest. And the second sock, or the other sock, I have not done anything with that since I saw you last week. And on that one I had the leg, same with the other one, the leg was complete. I had done the heel flap and the heel turn, and I had done most of the gusset decreasing. So all I have left on this one is to complete the foot and the toe. So I'm really hoping that I will be able to have this one, the second sock for Adamant Hearts, complete before next week, but we shall see. I should be able to get it finished for next week. So I have during next week I have several Zoom sessions that I'll be sitting through where my hands are free. I'm not taking notes. I'm just listening. So I should be able to get quite a few hours of knitting done next week as well. So I should really be able to finish those. I should really be able to get those finished for next week. So you might have 2 weeks in a row where I'll get to show you a finished object. We'll see. My scrap sock yarn, it wasn't touched all week. So I'm hoping I can finish Adamant Hearts I'm hoping I can finish it fairly quickly so that I can spend some time working on my sock scrap yarn. So that's my work in progress. I haven't had a chance to do anything on my wrap or my sock scrap yarn. But I do have 2 projects I want to cast on, or that I will be casting on in the somewhat near future. The first work in mind I have is the shawl pattern. It's a mystery shawl pattern. So it's called Stillness Shawl Mystery Knit Along, and it's a shawl pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I was making sure I had that right. So it is a mystery shawl pattern. The first clue is going to come out on Thursday, June 25th, so next week. So hopefully by the time I do my podcast next week, I'll be able to show you the yarn I have for it and hopefully the cast on. Although it is a mystery knit, so I will be putting little spoiler alerts out so that if anyone else happens to be knitting along with that, then they'll know when to quit watching what I'm talking about and showing. So the pattern calls for three colors, or three skeins of fingering weight yarn. They suggest you have one light, medium, and dark color. And the inspiration for it is still life paintings and just being still. And I'm still mulling over what yarn I'll be using. I am probably 95% sure I will be using 3 skeins of, I have a bunch of the Stroll, or the Knit Pick Stroll Bear fingering weight yarn. I have quite a few skeins of that, so I highly suspect I will be dyeing 3 colorways to use with that. Unless I also have been kind of mulling over, maybe I'll use some of this. All of the yarn in here is fingering weight. All of the yarn over on this side is sport weight, so that's not under consideration. But I might use a couple of these, like this darker reddish pink, the lighter, and maybe this blue-gray, maybe. Or I suspect I'm going to dye, I'll dye something for this. It might be in shades, I'm kind of leaning towards pinks and purples. Maybe a light pink or medium pink, a light purple and a darker purple. Quite a few of the images I've seen on the thread in Ravelry, quite a few of the people have been showing pictures of the yarn, well, their inspiration picture plus the yarn they're planning on using. And several people tend to have the 3 colors. One is a light and a medium shade of one particular color, and then there's a bit more of a darker contrasting color. So I'm still contemplating this. Or I might use 2 shades of purple and kind of a moss soft green color. One of my favorite artists is Monet, and I particularly love his water lily paintings. And there's one or a lot of his impressionist and water lily type paintings, but there's one painting he has that I can't remember the exact name. Something about his garden, and it's in pastel-y pinks and purples and soft greens. So I'm thinking I might pull colors to dye from that particular, use that as my inspiration picture, but I'm not sure yet. I'll be mulling that over on the weekend, and I'll get going on dyeing that so that I have it all dyed, dried, and caked up in time for the pattern release to come out on Thursday. So that is a work of mine. So when you tune in next Friday or Saturday when I post episode 21, I'll have some newly dyed yarn, most likely, unless I pull from my stash, which is less likely. I'll have the freshly dyed yarn to show you, and I should also have the cast on done. So that's something to see for next week. And a second project that I have been So I've wanted to cast on for a couple years now, and I keep putting it off, and the more I'm thinking about it, the more I absolutely would love to cast it on. And this one is the Damyaka Lopa, or the Flea, a Lady's Cardigan by Pinaguri. And this is one that a lot of people are doing knit-alongs with this pattern a few years ago. So I'm very rarely on the cutting edge of when knit-alongs are being held, aside from when I occasionally time it perfectly for a mystery knit-along. But typically I'm a year or 2 years behind the trends when it comes to knitting the popular designs. So I have been wanting to cast on the Flea cardigan for a long time, and I think I'm finally going to break down and cast that on later on this summer. I don't have the yarn I want for it yet. I haven't decided on the yarn I would use for it. So I'm thinking perhaps Knit Picks Palette, or perhaps Whole Super Soft. One or the other of those. Either way, I will have to order yarn for either of them. I do have a lot of Knit Picks Palette in my stash, so excuse me. I think what I will do is I'm going to start playing around with some color options from what I do have, and try to make a decision of, that's one of my biggest problems, is I don't know what colors I want to do it in. Right now I'm tending to think I want to do it in the main color on the body in a pale gray or like a silvery gray color, and then I want to do the colorwork portion in a variety of shades of blue or pink and purple. Those are my three favorite colors, although blue is probably my most favorite color, but I do like pinks and purples as well. So I'm still contemplating what I'll use for it, and I'm still contemplating my yarn choices. So I'm not quite ready to jump in with both feet and start knitting on this quite yet. I have to really think out the colors and get some of that ordered and start getting that ready to go. So I'll keep you posted on that. I might also, like I say, I've finished off one of my pair of socks. I'm almost done. A noisy little car. It's where I finished up one pair of socks. I'm almost done my second pair of socks, and then I'll be down to one work in progress. So I'm really itching. My fingers are so itchy to cast on something new. I refuse to cast on anything right now until I'm finished my Adamant Heart socks. Those I have to finish those before I cast on anything. But I will be next week casting on the Stillness Shawl, and then quite likely Damyaka Lopa will be cast on I'm thinking probably within a month, a few weeks to a month. So keep watching for those. They're definitely in the works. They're definitely on my radar, and especially since I've reduced my works in progress by one, I'm down to only 2 whips right now, and one of those 2 is almost done. I honestly expect I will have it 100% finished to show you guys next week. So what else do I have to tell you about? Not an awful lot. We're still mostly in shutdown around here, although the county in Pennsylvania where we live, we have gone into the most relaxed phase of opening up. although there's still quite a few restrictions still in place. So things are starting to open up, but I haven't really been going anywhere. I haven't really been doing anything. So there's not really much of anything to report there. I've been keeping busy with work things. I don't think I mentioned this in my previous video. I probably mentioned it in some of my older videos. But I work as a faculty member at a nearby university, and during spring break, when all of this COVID-19 really was getting of concern, the university closed down and we moved to delivering our classes and our lectures online. It was done in real time during a regularly scheduled class time. I would get on Zoom from home, and each of my students would get on Zoom from their homes, and we would have the regular class in real time as we would have in the classroom. So that finished up the end of April, beginning of May. And then I've had oodles of Zoom meetings. Oh my goodness. I've been I'm getting awful tired of Zoom meetings. But I had 2 conferences that I was planning on going to this summer, which were both canceled, and they've each moved all the conference content and changed it up so that the physical conference was canceled, but they switched it up and had a virtual conference. So one of these is still ongoing. So they are presenting Zoom sessions, usually 3 or 4 days a week. They'll have usually 2 sessions each day. And it's been ongoing for a few weeks now, and it will be ongoing for a few more weeks. So for each of these, I'm able to hook up on Zoom and knit. We don't have our cameras on. We're not allowed to have our cameras on. We don't have our microphones on. We're just part of the audience, and we just sit in our homes and watch the episodes. No, those are podcasts or episodes. The conference sessions, we just watch from the comfort of our own home. So I am fortunate that I have been able to continue working throughout all of this, and I've been able to knit while I'm working, which has been really, really good. So that's about all I have for me. Just the only thing going on is that I'm sitting through Zoom sessions. I actually thought it was funny. Next week I have a doctor's appointment just for my regular checkup, and I've sent a message to the doctor's office about getting the requisition sent across to the lab so I could get my blood work done ahead of time. And they sent me a message back saying that my doctor is doing all of his visits from home using Zoom. And they asked, are you comfortable using that? And do you have the capability of doing a doctor's appointment over Zoom? So I thought it was comical because they phoned me to get the information and to find out if I was okay for doing this. I wasn't able to take the call because I was in a Zoom meeting. So when I called back to let them know that they were asking if you're comfortable with that, and I said, yeah, I'm fine. I said, I actually couldn't answer your call because I was on a different Zoom meeting at the time. So I'm completely comfortable with using Zoom and have no problems with my computer and setup and things at home to use Zoom. I am really curious how you're going to have a regular doctor's appointment using telemedicine over Zoom. So I'm very curious. It's the first time I've ever had a doctor's appointment done remotely like this. So I'll be very curious to see how that works. I'm assuming that you're not going to be able to look down my throat and look in my ears and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming that can't be done, but I'm going to be very curious to see how all of that's going to work. So I think I've done enough rambling for now. I should get going, get some editing done on this, and hopefully have it posted up later on today, or at the latest I'll get it posted up on Saturday morning sometime. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and please take a second and like the video and subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell notifications so you get notified every time I post a new video, which I'm hoping will be each week. So take care everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye now.